Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. DOMA Doppelganger. An upcoming vote in the Senate is threatening true marriage as a new bill that would repeal the Defense of Marriage Act rears its ugly head. The Washington Blade, a same-sex activist paper, says that discussions about passing the Respect for Marriage Act are being held over by the Senate Judiciary Committee, and it is expected that the law will be addressed further next week. The proposed law would essentially allow the federal government to issue the same benefits to homosexual couples that truly married couples receive for the sake of bringing children into the world. Bishop Salvatore Cordileone of Oakland, the chairman of the USCCB's Subcommittee for the Promotion and Defense of Marriage, says the law violates justice and basic human rights because it, quote, transforms marriage from a child-centered to an adult-centered status to the detriment of children, end quote. You can read more of Bishop Cordileone's statement on our resource page by clicking on the link right outside the screen. Devil in the DNA. A USCCB staff member's article that says homosexuality originates with Satan is being pulled from publication. CatholicCulture.org says Daniel Avila, attorney and policy advisor for the Subcommittee for the Promotion and Defense of Marriage, wrote an article pointing out that if same-sex attraction was the result of an inconsistency in DNA at conception, homosexuality should be labeled as originating from Satan for deforming God's creation of life. Fox News reports the article was published in the Archdiocese of Boston's official newspaper, The Pilot, which says it failed to recognize the, quote, theological error before publication, adding that the article did not reflect the position of the USCCB and was not authorized for publication. A spokesman for the Archdiocese says, referring to Avila, quote, this one clearly got away from him. Avila will be writing a public apology for his statements in the article as well. That will also be published in the Pilot. SSPX Explanation. The Society of St. Pius X is squashing any rumors regarding their answer to the Vatican's offer of reunion made in September. After discussing the doctrinal preamble during their October meetings, the Society has yet to answer Rome, though CatholicCulture.org reports a British traditionalist group is stirring the media, erroneously saying the Society's leadership decided against reunion with the Holy See. The Society's statement is a really simple one, found on the blog Rorate Caeli, and clarifies that only the General House of the Society of St. Pius X is, quote, entitled to make public and official communique or authorized commentary on this matter, end quote. Sources say that should the Society re-enter a state of full communion with the Church, they would get their own personal prelature, making them directly answerable only to the Vatican. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
It's not porn, it's erotica. So says a German publishing company recently exposed in the media as completely owned by the country's Catholic bishops. And they're serious. LifeSite News reports the company Weltbild says in a recent press release, quote, it should be noted, pornography is a clearly defined legal term, and, quote, Weltbild offers no pornography and has never done so before, end quote. Meanwhile, a book offered by the company, featuring a naked woman on its cover, says in its description, quote, these stories are extremely, wickedly seductive, uninhibited passion and delicious. There are exciting dreams shamelessly crossing all boundaries, end quote. The bishop's company claims it only gets 0.02% of profits from its racier productions and says that to call such works pornographic is simply, quote, untrue and defamatory. Ring around the Rosary. The Occupy movement in Canada has now set its sights on Vancouver's Roman Catholic Cathedral. Several dozen protesters, self-named Occupy the Vatican, attempted to occupy Vancouver's Holy Rosary Cathedral during Holy Mass, but were thwarted by police, thanks to the Archbishop Michael Miller. Despite the police being involved right from the start, this didn't stop the protesters from trying again, with members of the Knights of Columbus helping to fight the protesters off this time. According to LifeSite News, the attack may have been in response to statements made by a former evangelical leader, Frank Schaeffer, who posted a blog on October 13th instructing people to begin targeting Catholic churches because he considers Catholicism to be an enemy of the state, as well as fundamentalist in its approach to abortion and homosexuality. Occupy Vancouver stated that they did not support the protesters, but they didn't rebuke them either. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless you.